Hey everyone, Hallie here. Today I thought it'd be really fun to create my own season for Marvel Rivals, and specifically I wanted to theme this season all around the Thunderbolts, and specifically the Thunderbolts movie that will be coming out very soon. So in this video, I'm going to be talking about what new characters I would like to see in the Thunderbolts season, what new maps we could see, what type of battle pass stuff we could see, and just my own type of speculation. I thought this video would be really fun to make and just give you guys some ideas. So let me know what you all think about it down in the comments below, but without further ado, let's go ahead and get right into it. So I'd imagine the main thing that a lot of you are probably here for is what playable characters could be added in a Thunderbolts season. The great thing with the Thunderbolts is similar to the Avengers, it's a team of heroes, and all of these heroes have their own unique abilities. So there's so many possibilities that we can pick from, so let's go ahead and first start off with the Red Guardian. Now the main issue with Red Guardian is he is essentially just Soviet Captain America, so it is a little bit difficult to make him distinct from Captain America, but I do think he should be a Vanguard character, just like, of course, Captain America. I imagine his primary attack would just be a combo of him using his shield. Of course, there also has to be some sort of secondary attack where he can throw his shield. Of course, that's very similar to Captain America, but this is the point where these two characters will split. I think it'd be really cool if, for the first ability that Red Guardian has, he had some sort of grapple that he could use on an enemy, similar to Hulk's ultimate ability where he is able to grapple an enemy and do like a combo on them. I think Red Guardian should have something similar to that, or just be able to grab an enemy and like move them or slam them into the ground. I think that'd be really cool. I also think it would be cool if he took on more of a, almost similar to a Magneto role as compared to Captain America as a Vanguard, where he uses a shield to protect his teammates. I think it'd be really interesting if he had some sort of ability where he could raise his shield and I don't know how it would protect his teammates. Maybe it would boost his teammates, but something like that where he's using a shield as like a wider range of protection compared to Captain America, I think would be a good way to make them different. But it's pretty hard because they are extremely similar characters, and in the comics it's literally just a knockoff version of Captain America. So it is a little bit difficult to create my own ideas for this, but yeah, I think something similar to like Magneto's shield would be pretty cool, where you're protecting more of your teammates. For his ultimate, I think it'd be really cool if he had just like a really strong attack that he did. Captain America, he just gets like a buff to his teammates and to himself. I think it'd be really cool if Red Guardian just had like a really massive attack that he did. Maybe he jumps up into the air and slams into the ground, or maybe he like sucks into the enemies into like a vortex and hits them or something. I'm not too sure, but something like that would be pretty cool. Red Guardian is a little bit hard of a character to create abilities for just because he is so similar to Captain America. Regardless, I think he'd be a really cool character to see added into Marvel Rivals. The next character we have is Yelena Belova, which is another Black Widow, part of the Black Widow program, but is not the Black Widow. I think there's some pretty cool stuff we could do with another Black Widow character in the game. For her main abilities, I think it'd be really cool if she just had like a gun. She uses a Glock in the movies, and that is what she just uses. And that's her preferred weapon, so I think it'd be pretty reasonable to have her have a Glock, but I think it'd also be neat if she had the Black Widow batons as well. For Yelena's abilities, I think it'd be really cool if the Black Widow bite was incorporated into her kit, allowing you to have some sort of crowd control over the enemies by stunning them. She uses it in the movies and the Kate Bishop Hawkeye TV show, so I think it'd be really cool if we saw it in game. But yeah, she pretty much just uses all sorts of weapons, but one main ability I would love to see is the Widow's Bite. They could mix it up, possibly. I mean, they could make it shoot out like shock darts or something, but having some sort of Widow's Bite would be fantastic for Yelena. I think it also makes sense if she had some sort of mobility ability. I'm very much thinking of her as a duelist, almost similar to Punisher, but with less firepower and more mobility, I would say. So a tactical role would be really cool. It'd also be neat if she could like scale walls and run up them. That would be pretty cool. For her ultimate, I think it'd be really cool if she entered a mode where headshots just did way more damage. I think it'd be really fitting for her character, you know, being very precise and accurate. I think it'd be really cool if she had a mode with her ultimate where when she uses it, she does like 300% headshot damage, being able to like 1 or 2 shot characters. But maybe it only lasts for some amount of shots. I think something like that would be really cool, where it's very high reward but very high risk. I think that'd be very cool, and it'd fit the character very well. So those are my thoughts for Yelena. We should see her almost like Punisher with a little bit less firepower and more movement. And I'd love to see her Black Widow's bite implemented into the game as well. Next up, we have Taskmaster. Now, I know Taskmaster really, to be quite honest, I think this character is going to die in the first, 5 minutes of the new Thunderbolts movie, but Taskmaster, just as a character overall, is pretty interesting, and I think would be very cool to see within Marvel Rivals. I already made a video all about Taskmaster, so you guys can watch that if you want a little bit more in-depth with this character, or her character, I suppose, as in the MCU, she is a girl, but essentially very much focused around using their shield and their sword, as well as just weapons. The abilities would probably be very similar to Loki's ultimate, where you can mimic the enemies, as that's Taskmaster's whole thing, is being able to mimic those that they see and having the ability to fight at the same level just by looking at someone. I also think it'd be pretty cool to see a grappling hook, maybe similar to that of Spider-Man's. I much would prefer a grappling hook that you swing from, as opposed to something like Punisher where it's like a zip line. But I think something like that with Taskmaster could be pretty cool. Or even some sort of crowd control could be pretty neat. In the Spider-Man video games, Taskmaster is able to completely halt Spider-Man with a device that they shoot out, so maybe something similar to that could be pretty cool. For Taskmaster's ultimate, I really don't know what they would do. I'm very much thinking of this character as a duelist, and maybe something where they just do extra damage, or maybe they pull out a souped up version of their sword and shield, almost similar to magic, except of course with a sword and shield and whatever abilities that would entail. I think would be super cool, but I think Taskmaster would be a really interesting character to see within Marvel Rivals, just because that character has so much depth just within Marvel alone, and their story is pretty interesting. The next character that we have is Ghost, and I think Ghost would be a very interesting character to see added into Marvel Rivals, as their character and abilities would be something that we have not yet seen added, but I think is something very manageable to be added into the game. The abilities of Ghost is very similar to that of Invisible Woman, where she can go invisible, but she can also become completely intangible and phase through objects. I think it'd be really neat to incorporate this type of ability into Marvel Rivals, and I think Ghost would just be a very interesting character to see added into Marvel Rivals. I could very much see Ghost being some sort of melee focused character. I think in the movie she might have a bow and arrow or just a gun, so they could add that. But yeah, I'm not too sure what they will do for her primary attack, but something, whether it's a bow and arrow or a gun or just a melee attack, I feel could be very interesting just to see Ghost added. One ability I would love to see for Ghost is the ability to phase shift. I think this would be perfect in Marvel Rivals. You activate the ability to phase shift and you are able to pass through walls. I think that's pretty reasonable. There's already a lot of destructible walls, so maybe it's only the destructible walls you can pass through, or maybe it's every wall on the map. I'm really not too sure how they would implement it, but I would love to see the intangibility of Ghost implemented into Marvel Rivals, and I think it'd be really cool to be able to phase shift through a wall to avoid an enemy, and then you phase shift out of that wall and surprise them, or you can run away. I think that'd be really interesting, and we really haven't ever seen a character like that in any other game, at least that I can think of. So something like that would be pretty cool. Ghost in the comics, and possibly in the movie, I suppose, is also very focused around sabotage and disrupting things. So I would imagine their other abilities would be a mine that they can place down, maybe to slow enemies and just kind of, slow them down, disrupt them. For the ultimate of Ghost, I would love to see them enter a super cloaked mode, where they can phase shift at will and do super powerful attacks. I'm not too sure. I'm kind of just spitballing here because I'm not too sure what Ghost's powers are outside of just being able to become intangible. But if they had something for their ultimate where they can become super powerful and use the ability of intangibility as a super offensive thing, I think that'd be really cool. So yeah, I think Ghost would be a very interesting character added into Marvel Rivals. And of course, I did want to mention US Agent. I'm not too sure how they would differentiate him from Captain America. Maybe just make him way more aggressive. I guess that would make sense. But again, it's one of those characters where he has a shield. He's very similar to Captain America already, like in the comics, and just like who his character is. So it's very difficult for me to like think of how they would make US Agent different. I really don't even know if we would need him added, but I did just want to bring him up because he is part of the Thunderbolts team. But yeah, I don't know. I feel like he could be a Captain America skin, to be honest. Now this brings me on to the second part of the video. I don't think this season would be complete if the Sentry was added. However, I don't know if he would fit as a playable character, but I do think he would be a very interesting character added into a event mode or some sort of special limited time game mode. Now there's a variety of ways that they could go about adding the Sentry into a limited time mode. They could do something like on a payload map, there is a Sentry AI. This Sentry AI maybe he helps protect you at some point, but then the Void will be unleashed, and then you have to deal with the Void. I'm really not too sure how exactly this would work, but I would love to see the Sentry added in some sort of game mode, because I just don't really think he would work as a playable character, as he is one of the most powerful beings in Marvel Comics. But some sort of game mode, whether it's a payload mode where the Sentry is there as an AI, or maybe we could play as like the Thunderbolts characters and actually fight a Sentry AI character, and it's like a dedicated PvE mode where you take down a boss. That'd be super cool. And kind of reminds me of Overwatch's Halloween Junkrat mode. So that's what I think would be added for the event of this season, is some sort of Sentry PvE mode. I think would be so cool and very unique, as we haven't seen something like that added into the game just yet. For the Battle Pass, we could definitely get some Thunderbolts skins for a variety of characters. As I said previously, Captain America could get a US Agent skin as opposed to US Agent just being added into the game, as they are very similar characters. Similar to how Anti-Venom is in the game, but is just a skin for Venom, but they are two separate characters. They could do a ton of really cool stuff, as the whole idea of the Thunderbolts is like a secret government agency to help protect the world, formed by not so great people. So really interesting, and there's a lot of cool stuff they could do for just Battle Pass skins, and like a secret government agents theme skin. I don't know, something like that could be pretty cool. With that being said, that is my ideas for a Thunderbolts season. I think it'd be really cool if we got some of the characters from the Thunderbolts movie added into the game, and you know, we could see there's so many ideas they could work with making the Sentry into like a unique game mode and taking him down. I think would be so fun. So let me know what you all thought of this video. I thought it'd be fun to just yap about these characters, as I'm pretty excited for this movie. It looks pretty cool, in the trailers for it look good. So let me know what you all think down in the comments below. But with that being said, thank you so much for watching to the very end of this video and just listening to me yap. Let me know what you all thought down in the comments below. With that being said, thank you so much for watching, and I will see you in the next one. Bye bye.